And the answer is no.
Oh, that's great then.
And scene.
And
That was
scene.
the whole video right there. All right, hit me, Producer Potts.
Okay, I've been using your Nutrivore weekly serving matrix, and it's been really life-changing, but I'm wondering, like, I don't always eat a full serving of something at a meal. So my kind of like nutrient absorption type question is, like, I know that these serving targets are set in order that we eat so much of that food so we get the health benefits, but do we have to eat a full serving at each meal, or can it be little bits of this and little bits of that? Like, so far as like how our body absorbs those nutrients, can we really, I know that you say dietary diversity is really important, so I know that's important, but like, do I have to always eat a serving at a meal for that to count towards my health wise versus like the little check box? Does that make sense?
It makes sense. And the answer is no.
Oh, that's great then.
And scene.
And
That was
scene.
the whole video right there. Okay, fine. I will elaborate on that answer. So no, we can utilize the nutrients in a food no matter like what the quantity is that we consume at one time. So you could have like the best example of this is studies looking at the health benefits of leafy greens. Like the benefits to, for example, diabetes risk start at like a fifth of a serving per day. And then like our benefits, like they start to stack, right? So then you start to get more of the benefits to like age-related cognitive decline, and the benefits to osteoporosis risk, and the benefits to cardiovascular disease risk, right? Like the benefits increase the more of those we eat, but also it's to the whole food family. So it doesn't need to be that I ate a serving of spinach. It could be that I ate a serving total of my my spring mix from the tub, right? Those are all leafy greens. There's probably some chard in there, and there might be some arugula. There's definitely some spinach, maybe a couple varieties of lettuce. Maybe there's some baby kale, right? There's a bunch of different things in there. So, so that's why, first of all, the serving targets in the weekly serving matrix are for the food family, not for the individual food, so that you can kind of mix it up like that. You can have some mixed vegetables and count that towards your vegetables. But like if you're having mixed vegetables and you're like, well, some of this is broccoli and some of this is carrots, and carrots count as a root vegetable and a total vegetable, and broccoli counts as a cruciferous vegetable and a total vegetable. How do I count that? So you can absolutely, when you are checking off the boxes in the weekly serving matrix, like you can check off a half. Like that's absolutely fine, and then come back maybe the next day and get the other half. Like you can have the goal for these is to average those servings over the week, but you don't have to have them daily. You don't have to have, you could have 3 servings one day and nothing for the next 3 days. That would be fine. You could have all, like if you're talking about cruciferous vegetables where 7 servings per week is like the target, you could have all 7 servings in one day and none for the rest of the week. The studies that look at the health benefits of these vegetables, like we want it to be a consistent feature of our diet, but it doesn't have to be a daily feature of our diet. Do you know what I mean? Like weekly is absolutely consistent enough for us to benefit from the nutrients that these foods contain.
Gotcha.
Also, it's okay if you don't hit every target every week. That's fine. Like, again, we want the big picture to kind of, those are great goals to aim for most weeks to be, consistent. But like a lot of these studies will look at our monthly intake, not our weekly or daily intake, and show servings per month versus, right, not eating this vegetable and how that's beneficial. So there's, I think it's really important when we are using the Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix to remember that that is about leveling up. So there's so much, like that's why like all of the eating patterns that I describe in chapter 4 in my book are all just like really nutrient dense, health promoting eating patterns But if that's all you did, if you didn't worry about foundational foods or the weekly serving matrix, you just focused on those eating patterns, that gets you most of the way to a nutrient dense, health promoting diet. That gets you most of the way to those lifelong eating patterns that are so important. If that's all you did, that's going to have a profound impact on your long-term health. That's most of it. That's most of it is those eating patterns. The Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix is about identifying those foods that have something nutritionally special to offer us, right? Like the glucosinolates in cruciferous vegetables that have a really strong body of scientific literature showing benefits to specific health outcomes. So it's about identifying those foods and setting targets so that we're getting most of the benefits that those foods have to offer while leaving lots of room for dietary diversity. So that's where all of those serving targets in the Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix come from. But it's all of that science is still open to interpretation. So if I set a serving target at 7 per day, like cruciferous vegetables is a great example here. The benefits to reducing cancer risk for cruciferous vegetables, those really start at 5 servings per week, not 7 servings per week, right? So like if you only got 5 servings 1 week, you're still getting all of the cancer reduction benefits. The cardiovascular disease benefits don't actually cap out until about 2 servings per day. So like you could even go more than that and still continue to get benefits. So I think what I'm trying to say is the weekly serving matrix should be used to help us level up our nutrition once those eating patterns are down. It might be helpful to help establish those eating patterns for some people, but I don't want it to be seen as this like rigid set of rules. Okay, I have to eat this way, because that is diet mentality. That is applying that old way of thinking that's very like I have to measure, I have to do all of these things, and I don't do all of these things in order to be healthy. All of those serving targets, they all have wiggle room. They're all averages. And the idea is to help us like improve diet quality, but do it in a way where we still get joy from our diet, where our diet's not stressful. And when we overthink and when we start feeling like we have to measure, that's why the Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix has approximations for serving sizes. We don't need to be measuring it. We can eyeball it, and we're going to be in that range that scientific studies show is better. We don't want to be adopting that mindset where we're overthinking each aspect of it. It's totally okay to overshoot some targets 1 week and not hit them another week. It's totally okay to use the Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix to iterate and slowly improve our diet over time. It's totally okay to approximate. That was roughly half a serving. That was roughly a whole serving. And it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to like go, oh, that was roughly a serving, and then think about it later and go, actually, was that 2 servings, or actually was that half a serving? Like I think it's really important that that we're not applying that like overthinking, overanalyzing, like diet culture mentality to this tool for increasing nutrient density. And if you find yourself doing that, if you find yourself obsessing about checking every checkbox, if you find yourself wanting to measure, did I eat 1 serving or 1.5, or right? Like if you find yourself in that mentality, then maybe that's not the best tool for you. Maybe it's a tool that's more triggering than it is beneficial. Not every tool works for every person.
Right. Well, that's really good information to know. And I think it's helpful to, when filling out the matrix, to know that it's pretty loosey-goosey. And just the fact that we are thinking about food from a nutrient perspective is great. Like it really doesn't matter how many boxes we check off. It's just about the intention is there, and improvements will be made slowly over time. So yeah. That's great. I love that. So where can people, I know that I just talked about this thing, the Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix. So I know it's in your book. Yes. And it's, I think that there's like a QR code or something.
So let's share the Easter egg. I'm not sure very many people know about this. So the Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix is the like culmination of the whole book. It's basically like the summary of all of the things described in the whole book. So it is a 4-page guide inside the book. And a 4-page guide is is not super practical, right? So like you're photocopying 2 pages every single week to use it. So what you can do if you have the book is on the bottom of page 239, I have a post-it note covering it because you know what the YouTubes think of QR codes. They think bad, and then nobody sees your video. But also, you need to go get the book is what I'm also saying. But if you scan that QR code, it'll take you to a secret place where you can put in your information, and I will email you the full, like the 1-page full color version that you can just print off and fill out every single week. So
yeah, that's
one
the one
Easter
I have.
egg
It's so great
in the book. Also though, if you, I don't know, for some reason don't want this book, I can't think of what that reason would be. You dislike really useful, well-written resources that have lots of
hey, maybe you got the audiobook though.
Okay. Well, if you have the audiobook, you have that in your PDF download. So if you got the audiobook, the weekly serving matrix is in the PDF download, including that QR code. So you can still do this if you got the audio version of the book. You can still do it if you got the Kindle version of the book. So that will work for any format.
With the exception of Spotify, you don't get
you don't get the PDF if you're listening.
You don't get the PDF. So maybe what you're about to say will be helpful for those who did like I did and listened to the book on their Spotify account.
So if you used a credit on Audible to get the book, you can get the PDF that way. Yeah, if you used it as part of your Spotify book hours,
listening hours, yeah.
I didn't realize you didn't get the PDF that way. Darn it. Okay, so here's 2 options for you. If that's you, you could go grab I think the Kindle version is probably the cheapest way to get the book. You could go grab the Kindle version and get it that way. Or if you wanted to, you can actually get the Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix as a digital product on my website. So you go to nutrivore.com/shop, and it's right there under digital resources. And that comes with the full color version, but also a black and white version if you don't want to printer ink all the color. And it also comes with the Nutrivore meal map, which is also in the book in chapter 4 as a printable. It comes with the serving size cheat sheet, which is also in the book as a printable. And it comes with a instructional guide that has all of the information. So you can also get that as a digital resource at nutrivore.com/shop if you don't want a second copy of the book because you listen to it on Spotify.
Fair enough. Thank you, Dr. Sarah.
Thank you.